Hello, hello. It's that time of evening again. Let me just log into my Facebook here and then I can see any questions that come up. Hello, hello. So put that on mute. All right, so I'm gonna wait just a minute and see who all's gonna join us live, and then we'll go from there, okay? So if you are watching the replay, then go ahead and put hashtag replay, and we will know that you were able to join us at least, and maybe not live. So let's see who else is going to join us. And I've got my computer here so I can look at the questions and talk into the camera as well. So tonight we're going to make walnut maple chocolate chip cookies. And I said on the post that there wasn't going to be any flour in it, but I was wrong. There's actually 1 cup of flour in it, but I do use an organic, unprocessed, meaning there's no chemicals, no bleaching, no anything added or taken away for the flour that I have. So, and then I'm also going to make for you, it's called CLT, but it's actually chickpea, lettuce, and tomato a mix, and it's a great substitute for like chicken salad. And hey Liz and hey Chris. So excuse me, I've been working like crazy getting ready for you, so got to get my water in. And okay, so I'm also going to make the chickpea lettuce salad for you, and then I've got some other things that I'll be sharing with you, okay? So first, let me get this stuff out of the way so I can get these in the oven, and then we can start mixing the other stuff up as well. Let me change my glasses so I can actually see what's on the screen over there. Okay, so here we're going to take 3 3/4 cup walnuts. So these are just ground walnuts. Hopefully you can see it okay. And I didn't measure it in here. I actually used a dry measuring cup and then ground them up and put them in here because that's what it would fit in. So we're just going to pour it into a mixing bowl. And that mixing bowl is probably, let's see that. Okay, so pour it into the mixing bowl. And then we add 1 cup of flour, and again, unbleached, no chemicals, anything like that. Then we have 3 teaspoons of vanilla, and it's organic, of course, organic vanilla. And then we have, this gives it a lot of fiber in addition to the walnuts. This is ground flaxseed, or otherwise known as flaxseed meal, and we're using 1/2 cup of that. And all I did was put it in a little blender. It was a personal blender, but if you have a flat blade, that's the kind of blade that you want to use. So you can see there's no prongs sticking up. That's a grinding blade. So you can use that to grind or to grind flaxseed or whatever else that you want to grind, okay? So that's the kind of blade that you want to use for that. Then we have, so we've got 1, 2, 3, there's like 6 ingredients, that's it. So we've got ground walnuts, whole wheat, pastry flour, sea salt. Here's the sea salt. So we're going to put 1½ teaspoons of sea salt in there, and then 3/4, not 3 cups, 3/4 plus 3 tablespoons. So what that actually is almost a full 8-ounce mason jar of maple syrup, and that's what we're going to sweeten it with. So there's no other added sugar except what's in the chocolate. And if you use carob chips instead of like chocolate chips or semi-sweet chocolate chips, then I don't think there's much sugar at all in those. And then let's see here, flaxseed, check. Okay, and so I'm going to mix that up. And here's the thing, I don't have carob chip. I thought I had carob chips, and I don't. But we had s'mores the other day. Yes, I eat s'mores. So we had s'mores the other day, and I just use special dark chocolate in order, for the chocolate side of it, so it has less sugar and stuff in it. And so I'm going to get that out of the freezer real quick, and I'll tell you why I put it in the freezer here in just a minute. But you can see, literally, I'm almost done. And this is what the mix looks like. We've got everything in there except for the chocolate, so bear with me, I'll be right back. Just got to get into the freezer real quick and grab these bars. So, don't try this at home. I'm just kidding. If that's all you got, then go for it. But these are special dark chocolate, and I froze them because I don't have chips. So I'm just gonna pop them on the table because they're frozen. And so make sure they're all into small little pieces. And then I can open the package up and just pour them in there. And then we'll have chocolate bits instead of chocolate chips. And you can see it's broken up into, well, I don't know if you can or not, but it's broken up into little pieces. So we'll just make sure that that's broken up even more. And you can get one of those little pounders if you want, that like a meat, what do you call that? That you hit the meat with. Tenderizer. You can get a tenderizer and do it too. And that'll make sure that they get the little pieces all beat up in there. And I'll show you what I mean. So the tenderizer is in the other drawer. Be right back. Here we go. This is a meat tenderizer, and it is because you can see from the wedges on the side, there's a big one and there's a little one. But I actually use this side when I'm pounding on things like nuts. If I want to grind some nuts or break them up into little pieces and I don't have a nut grinder, I put them in a baggie and I use the flat side of the meat tenderizer and break them all up like almonds or walnuts or whatever it is. And then I put them in there, and it's nice to put them in a baggie because you can actually see it, and then you know whether you broke up the pieces into big enough pieces or not, or small enough pieces rather. So we'll put that in there and break up the next one. The reason that the special dark chocolate is better because it doesn't have the milk in it. There's no dairy in the dark chocolate. And it still has sugar, but it doesn't have the dairy. Liz says, do you think I could substitute oatmeal or ground up oatmeal for the walnuts? I don't know. I suppose try it and see what you like. And if that'll work for you, then go for it. Use it. So let's make sure we got that pounded. But the walnuts really help to hold things together. And the oatmeal might do the same thing. I'm not sure. But it's definitely worth trying, right? And then you can let us know. So is it because you're allergic to nuts? Oh, because your son is allergic to nuts. Is that right? Let's see here. I'm waiting to see if so if it works, I'll let you know. Okay. Yeah, there's a nut allergy. That is the concern. So that's what I would try. And so let's get this package open here, put the rest of those chips in there and mix it up, and then we just have to drop it onto we are going to bake it at 350 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes, just until they're golden brown. So you want to keep an eye on them after, well, depending on your stove, after about 8 minutes, keep an eye out for them to make sure that they're not burning. And the bottoms, of course, will get darker before the tops. So look at the base of the cookie when you're looking for the golden part of it. And then a little bit on the top, you want that to be golden there too. So I don't know if you can see it, but this is actually quite thick now. And Liz, with the oatmeal, you might have to use less oatmeal because I don't think there's enough liquid. But if there is, then I would say go for it. And we'll be happy to learn how that works for you. So you get all the chips mixed in really good. If you've ever mixed up chocolate chip cookie dough, which we know Liz has recently, then it can get kind of hard to mix up a little bit. So now we just take some spoons, and I like this big cookie sheet because it bakes all the cookies at one time instead of, and then I can use the heat for less gas. I like just little full teaspoon sizes. Can you see that? Just full teaspoon sizes, and then I just spoon them onto the baking sheet. And this is it's a non-stick pan, so you don't have to worry about the sticky side. So another spoonful. So you'll get probably about 18 to 24 cookies out of that. Bake them for 8 to 10 minutes. Or no, check them at 8 to 10 minutes. Bake them for about 10 to 15 minutes, okay? And then let's see. Okay, yes, good. All right, so that one is done. Let me clear up my little mess here real quick. And then the next thing that we have, and I'm actually going to turn my oven off because I was going to go through and do it, but there's no sense in doing that. So the next one we have is the chickpea and lettuce tomato thing, but it's actually the chickpea part that I'm going to make. That's the salad side of it. So what you do is you take, and I've cut the recipe in half because we won't eat as much as it makes. It makes quite a bit. So instead of a half an onion, we use a quarter of an onion, and I use the sweet onion. I just like the yellow sweet onion. Then it calls for 1.5 stalks of celery. I just cut them all up into littler pieces and put that in there. And then it has salt, pepper, and dill weed, which is easy to find in the stores. And so we'll just put that in there. And it's all going into a blender. So this is a Ninja, and it's like the medium size one. I'm putting everything into the blender. Then we have the lemon juice that it calls for, which is 1.5 tablespoons. And then this is Vegenaise. So Vegenaise is a substitute for mayonnaise. It's a vegan substitute for mayonnaise. And I use the one with grapeseed oil. It just seems to have a better, closer flavor to mayonnaise or Miracle Whip. And this calls for 6.5 for a full one, or 3.25 tablespoons. I'm not real picky on the gauging side of things, and so I'm literally using a tablespoon, not a measuring tablespoon, and just putting a bunch of it in there. I actually like a little bit of extra Vegenaise, so we'll put that in there. And then I use organic, non-GMO chickpeas. So you're supposed to rinse them and drain them, and so that's what you'll put in there. So I hold that on the side so that it doesn't overflow, okay? So now you got all of your ingredients in the blender. That's all you gotta do. So then this is the Ninja. We're gonna put the lid on. You can see where the front part goes. And we'll put that on there. Oops. And then we just take the top part. So I'm gonna just grind this up real quick so I can show you. So talk amongst yourselves, do what you gotta do, and I'll be right back, okay? And sometimes you actually have to open it up because it's kind of full. You can use a bigger blender container so that it all kind of goes down to the bottom better. But if not, you'll see that I've still got some chickpeas kind of stuck at the top. So just kind of push those down to the bottom. And this isn't plugged in, of course, so otherwise I wouldn't do this. But push those chickpeas down to the bottom and try it again. And you're done. So that's all we have for that. So now, oh my gosh, this smells so good. It kind of smells like a mixture of, like I actually like tuna salad, and it smells, maybe because of the dill weed, I'm not sure, but it smells a little bit like tuna. Or maybe it's the celery that's in there that's doing it, and the onion. But it smells like a tuna mix to me. But it smells more like a chicken mix. So let's see. Rhonda says, works great as a meat substitute for vegetarians and vegans. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. So 2 cans of 15 ounce. I'm going to post the recipes on the page a little bit later after I'm done here. So, but I just want you to see the consistency. So when you scoop it, it's just, it's just like any other, like a chicken salad. If you like it clumpier, so it actually is more like a chicken salad, then you can grind the chickpeas first and just pulse them, and then they won't break up or grind as much, and then you'll have bigger chunks of the chickpeas, making it seem more like it's a chicken salad if you like that. So, and then you want to make sure that the celery is blended really nicely too, okay? So, all right, so that's it. And then what you do is, I like to toast sourdough bread and then put some little bit of Vegenaise on it if you like a little bit of extra. Otherwise, this has plenty in it because I even used extra here. So toasted sourdough bread and this on top, and then lettuce and tomato. I also, I don't eat a lot of cheese, but sometimes I like raw cheese. So I'll put some thin slices of raw cheddar or something on it. And I get that from Kroger, Meijer, or the organic market. And so put the toast, the CLT salad, the chickpea salad, lettuce. I actually like arugula on mine. And then you can put more onion if you want, or the cheese, and then tomato. If you like, you can put another piece of bread on top. I like it just open-faced. And then there's less bread that I consume too. But sourdough's the best bread to consume, but then there's still less of the carbs going in. So, does that make sense to everybody so far? Yeah, Rhonda says works great on wraps. It certainly does. And so you can put the same ingredients in a wrap. And I like these here. So the next video I was going to do is a black bean garlic hummus wrap. And these are definitely not the best option because I don't know if they're, it says naturally flavored, all that stuff. So, okay, that's fine. But they're still flour tortillas. But I like these mission wraps because they're a spinach herb flavor. And that would be great to put the wrap in with the tomato and the arugula or lettuce or spinach or whatever else you like to put in there, and wrap those up. And you could actually add some hummus in there. I think roasted red pepper or garlic hummus would be absolutely scrumptious in there too. So, but the black bean wraps that I make, I used to make those at my cafe, the Veg Out Cafe that I had years ago. And so I was going to make those for you, but I've got to make the black bean soup first. But I'll record it and put it on here for you. I'll speed it up so that you can look at it quickly and won't have to sit through the whole thing. So anyway, so you could also put it in a wrap with all of those ingredients. So if you want to try my cookies, let's see. Nope, I won't be at the office tomorrow. I'm helping my mom. So I guess you'll have to make them. Otherwise, I don't know how to get them to you. But okay, so that's what I have for that. And what else I was going to do is talk to you about a few things that I've written down. I always take notes during the week, and it's because I think of so many things that I want to talk to you girls about, and how I can help you with that. So let's see here. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so in the morning when you wake up, the first 20 minutes of your day are when your brain is actually the most impressionable. Hence, make your bed when you get out of it. Exercise, or at least plan to exercise. Drink a glass or two or a quart of water. So you're training your brain, and it's the most impressionable. So the more good things and the more intentional things that you set your mind to, the first 20 minutes of your day are actually going to set your day for the progress that you'll be making. So if you don't set your mind for those first 20 minutes, then your brain's going to kind of go along with whatever you decide to do or not to do. But it's best to actually set your mind and keep it set for the first 20 minutes of the day, okay? And then, let's see. So one thing that you can do to set your mind is listening to a great podcast. I love the quote of the day with Sean Croxton. I love Joyce Meyer's podcasts. I love, well, there's tons of them. Andy Stanley, Charles Stanley. There's Earl Nightingale's. There's a whole bunch of really, really wonderful podcasts that you can listen to. And I listen to a lot of business podcasts too. So that is a great way to do it. You can pray or meditate. Also be what you're grateful for. Read bits of a good book. Listen to a song that inspires you. Watch a video that motivates you. There's a lot of great things that you can do just to get started for your day for those first 20 minutes. So let's see who said what. I guess I'm going to have to open that up again. Let's see. Yes, quote of the day is awesome. Oh, good. I'm glad that you like it. Sean's one of my favorites, and one of my clients actually knows him, so I said, tell her I'm his #1 fan. And, okay, so get involved in the development of yourself. That's a good message because, we can't just do this daily quote or stuff and for a week or two and then quit and think that our life is going to continue in the momentum that we've built up. It will not. And it's harder to get restarted if you if you do it for a couple weeks and then you stop. It's way harder to get restarted the second time and the third time and the fourth time because you're telling your brain that it's not that important, and that's not what we want to do. The thinker thinks and the prover proves, and then the brain kind of goes along with whatever you tell it is important, okay? So let's see here. Make sure... Yeah, Rhonda says, I like Above Inspiration on YouTube. Great. Okay, so I hadn't heard of that. Thanks for sharing that. And if you girls have anything that you love and that gets you inspired or motivated in the morning or in the afternoon or the evening when you're really feeling like I need to get some stuff done but I'm not energized, then post it in the group so that everybody can benefit from it, okay? So let's see here. Okay, so yeah, so my note was get involved in developing yourself because most people won't do that. And then what will happen is they'll fall prey to the conversation that's in their head that they're not directing. So our job as intelligent, wise, and informed women is to know that we control the chatter in our mind. And if we don't like it, then we can instantly change it. Instantly. In a heartbeat, you can change the conversation in your head. And some of you have been doing that a lot, and I love hearing your stories of success because you're being intentional with your thoughts. So let's see here. So as you continue to work on yourself, you'll begin to expand your vision of what yourself and what's possible. And then your brain's like, oh, so there's more than this. That's a really good thing. And let's see. And then you'll begin to expand more into that, and then you'll begin wanting more, and then you'll get involved in self-mastery. When you decide to master yourself, I mean, all bets are off. You are unstoppable, and it absolutely, your potential is limitless. And so I want to encourage you to keep doing the things that you want to do, that you've dreamt of doing. Doesn't matter your age, young or middle-aged or seniors, whatever it is, just go for it because it's a dream in your heart. And so I think I was talking to my sister the other day, and she said, God gives us these dreams or these ideas, and if we don't act on them, he gives them to somebody else. So we don't want to do that. Rhonda says it helps me to write my thoughts down. Yes. Yeah, that's fantastic. And you are not alone. Other people in the group are doing that too. And it really, really does help. So let's see what else I've got. One word. Begin. Every time you don't feel like it, just begin. And the next time you don't feel like it, just begin. And when you keep that in your head, and that's like a trigger word, just begin, Wendy. Begin, Liz, Rhonda, Barb, everybody. Just begin. And so I don't know why I wrote that down, but that was a word that really stuck with me. Here's a quote from Lisa Nichols' grandmother. I loved this one. It said, convictions and conveniences don't live on the same block. they're not even in the same area code. So she has a really smart grandmother, because you have to be convicted. It's not convenient to be committed and convicted and decide to do something. There's nothing convenient about that except what you make convenient by surrounding yourself in putting yourself in an environment, by making it the best environment it can be for you, making it the best in your relationship environment, in your financial environment, all of those. So those are things that you're gonna be convicted about and committed to, but they're not going to be convenient at all. Excuse me. So she's a wise girl. And then someone else once said that our gift from God is our life. Our gift to God is what we do with our life. So what gifts are you giving to God in gratitude for what He's given you, which is your life? So I thought that was another good quote. And let's see here. What kind of settlements, this is the toleration thing that we talk about often, what kind of settlements are you making or still making in your life currently? So if you know you're settling on something, post it and let us know. If there's something that you're still tolerating, that you're still settling. Is it that you want to achieve all these goals and you've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and telling your brain each time you put it off that it's not really that important, even though you're thinking, no, it really is important. But you've got to show your brain by your actions, because your brain doesn't listen to what you say as much as your physiology. So do both. Say, yes, I am committed. I've decided to get that done. It is important to me. And then do it. And then that locks it in. And the win, again, just like making your bed, sets you up for more wins. Okay? Okay, so the challenge is that all in those settlements, most people don't have the courage to change them. But that's not you, because you're here and you invested time and money and effort in outside of the class, and thought time and intentions and prayer time and whatever it is that you've invested is huge. This can change your life forever if you choose to continue the process. But again, it's a daily thing. So in Romans 12:1-2, it says that we're supposed to renew our minds on a daily basis, right? And then there was another thing, another quote, I'll have to look it up and I can post it. But it's all about daily actions that we take. So let's see here. Oh, and let's see. A lot of that was, some of that was from Les Brown. Anyway, so, oh yeah. So a lot of people ask things, or they'll say to themselves, there's got to be more to life than this. I mean, so many people say that. On the outside, they look incredible. It looks like they have a great family and a great job and a great, relationship and all of those things. But on the inside, they're dying inside because they're not living their true purpose. And sometimes they don't even know what it was, because their identity changes as they make different choices in their life. And they don't know how to kind of get back to who they really are. And so what I love to be able to help people do is identify and help them understand that, yes, there's way more. I mean, extreme amounts more of life out there, and of joy and peace and even comfort, because you can be comfortable. We just don't want you to stay in it, because you don't grow in your comfort zone, right? We got to get you outside of the comfort zone so that you're growing. Anybody have any questions while we're going through this? Liz says, I've been settling to sleep a little bit later and miss out on the things like morning inspiration, prayer, exercise. Let me enlarge this so I can see the rest of that. And slacked off. So I started again today and it felt really good and my day was productive. Yay! Good job! 2 points for you out of 2. So that's great. Well done. And Rhonda says, me too, Liz. Christina says, to do in the morning, say thank you to what is already yours, smile and state your I ams. I am beautiful. I am grateful. I am loved. Very good, Chris. Thank you for sharing that. So good. Okay. I love all the participation. You girls rock. Okay. So let me get back to my notes here. And it's 9:03. I'm gonna try to keep it short, but let's see here. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in your career? I know we've talked about this before, but I want to readdress it, because if you don't and you're still there and you're wondering, what the heck am I doing here? You've got to know. So ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, I need to get the heck out of Dodge and do something else. 10 being, this is incredible. I don't want to leave. I love it. I'm living in my purpose. Where are you in your career? And are you spending 8 hours a day doing time? Because sometimes we feel like we're in a prison when we're doing work that we don't love. Are you spending 8 hours a day, which is not a good thing to do, doing time? That's like 85% of the population. You girls aren't in the 85%, otherwise you wouldn't be here, okay? So, let's see here. I like the I ams too. Rhonda said, I have some laziness going on. Well, what you gonna do about it? And a 4 and a 6? Okay, so we can make improvements in those areas. Good. All right, and so in your work, is it inspiring? Are you motivated by it? Do you feel a sense of purpose and movement from it? Does it like touch you? You know what I mean? Does it inspire you on a daily basis to get up and want to go to work? That sort of thing. Because it affects how you feel about yourself and your level of motivation. And we determine that. We alone determine that. So if we're not happy with it, whose choice is it to make in order to move in a different direction? Yes, it's yours. So I'm assuming everybody said mine. And that's why I said yes. So, okay. And then what kind of, what things are you tolerating in your relationships? And on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say your relationships are? And if they're not where you want them to be, what are you going to do about it? You can do something about it in the tiniest way. Even just your thoughts will make a difference in these relationships, okay? And then you can kind of go through the whole thing. My relationship, my finances, my career, my spiritual life, my physical life, the way I eat, you know, the fun and recreation. Do I have fun anymore? Do I take care of myself? All of those different areas. How is the environment around me that I've set up for myself? Is it conducive for a healthy environment, or does it zap my energy? So kind of go through and ask yourself. I think we're in week 6 here, and so this is a great time for you to reevaluate where you're at. And I think that I put the wellness wheel in there, the general one. And if I didn't, then I'll post that in there so that you have that. In fact, I think I made a new one so that you can have it. Okay, so we'll get that posted in there by tomorrow. And but it's time to reevaluate the things. So in your environment, you want to ask: is it nourishing me, or is it toxic? Let's see. Does it drain you or build you up? And it is the same with our foods, right? So is this nourishing or is it toxic? It's nourishing. It has live foods. It has no dairy, no meat, nothing that your body can't quickly process. And so we've got some legumes and some vegetables and a vegan mayonnaise. It is delicious. And spices and dill weed is good. It's got its own set of nutrients. So those are wonderful things, right? Okay, so let's see what else we got here. And I'm almost done. So really we just need to start asking ourselves those kind of questions. Is what I'm eating cleansing me or clogging me? Is it healthy or is it unhealthy? What result am I looking for? Like when Liz says, do I want that second cookie or do I want my belly to be smaller? Well, it was a great question. She chose the smaller belly. That's because she talked to herself. And it's great even if you do it out loud. I talk to myself all the time. I think people think I'm a little crazy, but that's okay. At least I'm not average, right? Because if I was average, I'd be overweight. In fact, I'd be obese. I would be sick on medications, I'd be broke, and I'd be extremely unhappy. Don't be average. Well, you're not, because you're here. So don't go back to anything close to average, all right, girls? And then, so these are the kinds of questions that we have to ask ourselves on a regular basis. Like, in the beginning, every month, you might want to reevaluate 1 to 10 in those different areas. Or you can really get in depth and do the, I'll grab this real quick. So, this is the Restoration Assessment 2018. So there's like 35, 40 different things in there that you can go through on the body, mind, spirit, and relationships. And these are very important that you know where you're at. Otherwise, you're just being led around by thoughts that you're not in control of. So I would encourage you to fill that out, or at least the general wellness wheel with the 8 general areas, okay? This is not a problem, I don't think, with most people, and most of you, I mean, but it can be. So don't expect anyone to ever love you if you try to control them. So are you always the one that wants to have it your way? Are you trying to control situations so that it makes you happy? Or is it about you and the other person, okay? So I'm going to read these comments again real quick. Let's see here. Rhonda says, I love helping people and taking care of people. Just looking for more opportunities to help in different ways. Well, there are a lot of them, and we're going to help you with that. So, ladies, if you have any suggestions on jobs that are in those areas and the pay is good, maybe there's some benefits, then please let Rhonda know, and we'll see what we can help you with. So, Liz says, that's how I feel too. All right, good. Wonderful. Okay, so I want to talk about the power of a pause. So when you're thinking about eating a cupcake and you haven't had a lot of sugar and stuff, one is fine, enjoy it. But when you're thinking about eating another cupcake after that, that's when a pause will come into play, and it will be extremely powerful. Because what that pause does is give you a moment to think. Do I want to have a bigger belly? Or do I want to feel sick the next day? Or later today? Or do I want it to steal my energy? Or do I want to feel great? Do I want to feel confident because I'm in control and that cupcake does not control me? So the power of a pause is amazing. If you're about to say something to someone that you think might be hurtful but you're not sure, pause. Think about what you're saying and then decide whether it's going to be helpful or hurtful. And don't say it if it's hurtful. And if you're not sure how to say it, then wait. Figure it out how to say it in a non-hurtful way, and then move on to the next, or then tell somebody something that. It's also about you. If you're about to say something to yourself like, oh, I'm so stupid, I do this all the time. Pause. Don't say those things. You just told your brain that you're stupid, and your prover mind will say, got it, you're stupid. I'll prove that for you. So we don't want to do that, right? So the power of a pause is immeasurable. Remember that. Just pause. So begin and a pause. All right. I've got just a couple more things here. Oh, where we hang out and who we hang out with matters. So if you hang out with me, the likelihood of you becoming a healthier eater is pretty high. I don't even do it intentionally, but people kind of, like, some people don't like to eat around me because I'm pretty fussy, but I've gone through cancer and breast disease and things like that, and I don't want to do it again. So I'm cautious most of the time, not always, with what I eat. And so if they're around me and I'm having a healthy sandwich with lots of vegetables or something like that, and they're having a big old plate of greasy fries and a burger that's got fat dripping off of it, and they don't know where it came from and that sort of thing, they actually think twice before they'll order it, because that's what they might be used to, and then they might order a side of vegetables or something. So in that case, it's a good thing as long as you're not feeling guilty and doing it out of guilt rather than desire to be healthy. Don't do that. I mean, it's not helpful, because then you're not going to enjoy it as much either. But who you hang out with matters, because if you are not a bowler, but you hang out with 5 people who are, guess who's going to be the 6th bowler? You. And so you don't want to do that, right? If you're not a bowler and you're not really interested in it, don't hang out with bowlers. What are you interested? Find those people and hang out with them. If you're interested in better relationships, find some people who have extraordinary or even good is better than average, have good relationships, and pay attention to what they do, what they say to each other, how they interact with each other, that sort of thing. Pay attention to that and have that like soak it all in, you know what I mean? And then discipline your disappointments. This is huge. So let's say you ate that second cupcake. Well, that's disappointing, you could say to yourself. And then you start to beat yourself up, and all of those emotions are creating acid in your body, so you need to discipline the disappointments. Don't give yourself an excuse and say, well, I'll just discipline that, and then you do it again. No, discipline your disappointments. I mean, like if your day doesn't go as you planned it, say, okay, well, perhaps it wasn't meant to be the way that I planned it, and maybe God had a different idea, so I'll go along with what He says if you're trusting in Him. So those are things like if your kids aren't doing what you hope that they would do and they're making poor choices, that's a disappointment, but maybe you take it personally as a parent or something. I don't know, but don't let that disappointment continue, and understand that they're adults. They're going to make their own choices. You've prayed for them. You've done your best. Now let them and God do the rest. Okay. Rhonda says, I've been thinking of working part-time in a flower shop. That way I can learn about flowers. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that would be really awesome. So something to start looking for then. That would be great. All right, and we're one last thing is let's not sleepwalk through life. Let's be awake and not just exist, because so many of us are walking around like zombies. Let's not sleepwalk through life. Let's exist, or let's live every day, because we don't know what day is our last. We don't know what day is our family's last. So the other thing, and I just thought of this, is if you leave the house and you have just argued with your spouse or a loved one or a friend or something, please don't leave it that way. Because if something, God forbid, if something did happen, you will have to discipline that disappointment for quite a while, because it'll be a regret that you'll have. So don't live with regrets, okay? Don't make mistakes like that will make you have regrets that you're going to have to deal with. So be loving, be kind, don't sleepwalk through life, be aware, assess your situation, asking these questions on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I? Do I like that? If not, what am I going to do about it? If I'm a 6, how do I get to a 6.5? Just baby steps, okay? So, all right, girls, you are beautiful. You are loved, and I love you. God loves you. Obviously, that's more important, but I still love you. And I'm so happy for you that you're here, that you're participating, and that I can share the things that I've learned over the last 40 years, but especially the last 25 that are helping you. So thanks again for being here, for showing up, for doing what you're supposed to be doing outside of the class, and continually working on bringing out our best selves. And thank you for supporting each other, because you don't understand perhaps how important it is until you get it, and then you want to help other people do the same. Okay, you're very welcome, Liz. Thank you. So okay, love you guys. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.